Today we're going to cover some quick tips on navigating around the worksheet. Every day I'm amazed at watching people use Excel and just navigating around a simple data set and taking a long time. So this is a pretty short data set, but I'll see people dragging their scroll bar down to get to the bottom, or using the arrow buttons just to go to the bottoms, or even page down. Those are all options. But today we're going to cover a whole bunch of things that are going to make navigating around a worksheet a whole lot simpler. So the first one is to get to the bottom of the data in this column. You're going to press Control down. Control down and Control up is going to take you to the bottom or the top of the data set that you're in. Note that if there is data missing right in the middle, so if I remove this piece of data, if I hit Control down, it's going to go to where that first empty cell is, and then I can press Control down again and it'll take me to the top. You can do the same thing with Control left and Control right. So you can go to the end of the data set or go to the beginning of the data set. Again, if there is data missing in between and I press Control left, it's going to take me to the end of the data set before there's an empty cell, and then I can go Control left again. The next really useful thing is to highlight the data in this data set. So if I press Shift Control down, it is going to highlight the data that is in that range. So in other words, to get to the end of that data. Again, if I go to the data set that has the data missing, kind of like in between the middle, if I press Shift Control down again, you can see it took me to the end of that piece of data. So that can be really useful if you just want to highlight what is here. It is Shift Control down. You can do the same with left. If I go Shift Control left, it will highlight to there is an empty cell to the left as well. The next tip is if I want to get to the bottom of the data set all the way at the very left and all the way at the bottom. So I want to get all the way from there, from where I am now. If I press Control and then the End key, it will take me there. Similarly, if I press Control and Home, it will take me to cell location A1 or the beginning of your data set. It will take you there. So something that's often used in cells is the Tab button, so you can go over to the next cell. If you do Shift Tab, it will then take you back, so you can go backwards in the data. So again, Tab to tab over, as many people do, but then Shift Tab to come back to where you were. Sometimes it's useful in order to be able to look at data quickly to be able to use the filter function. So you have here filter, and then you would drop this down. So if I wanted to see if this value Z not found exists anywhere in this data, I just do a filter, and then obviously I have it there. This is often useful for when there's an error or an NA in a column. But instead of using the filter, if I just hit Alt down, Alt and then the down button, this will give you a validation field. So this is exactly like the same way that would work for inserting a validation field. So again, instead of going to data, then filter, adding the filters, and then using them, you can just press Alt down, and that will show you every value in that column. So these are some of the really quick and easy tips for navigating around data. There are others. There are other shortcuts. Excel has many shortcuts, but in just getting around data, again, I see people often just scrolling through or paging down to get to the bottom of data, and it could take quite a bit of time. If you're doing that a couple hundred times a day, you may not think of it that way, but it does add up. So these couple tips will help you navigate through data.